Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Furu Finance. We have a great stream for you today. We're talking about HEX and Richard Hart are going to win the SEC case. There's some good news coming out, and we're going to get into all that and more on today's exciting episode. We're going to be looking at the charts. We're going to be seeing the price action, seeing perhaps what this September has in store for us. But yeah, full moon last night and wasn't a major dump. So I don't know. I guess a little bit of a dump, but I don't know. Interesting stuff. But smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Sorry I'm late. What's going on? Bob Stutes, good morning. Bob is a patron. Big shout out to Bob Stutes. What's up, Mixed Crypto Arts, Crypto Bigfoot, Mike, patron. Big shout out to you. Cookie de Chocolate, what's going on? What's up, Roll, Perez, Valiant Loki, BitHex. Case will be thrown out in November. Let's see. David Weinberg, what's going on? Patron, big shout out to David Weinberg, 1221. Brizology, what's going on, Brizology? Big shout out to Brizology and BitHex. Yeah, guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell notification. Right now, we got HEX at 0084. So we're having a slight retrace from our, I guess you could call it, relief rally of four green candles in a row, breaking above the 1 penny. So that's interesting. I think if we go down, we may retest this trend line at 0055, so a little bit above half a penny before we're headed up higher. But let's see. I mean, again, I've been saying this. It really depends on the news, I think, with SEC. And that's been looking pretty good because the SEC has been losing cases, crypto cases, that could set a very good precedent. So that's really what's happening. We'll see if any more charges come or any news happens. But for now, maybe we go back down to half a penny before we're headed higher. But I wouldn't count on it. I continue to dollar cost average, and that's really what's going on. Pulse. Pulse chain 4038, pretty much tracking HEX at this point. Just less upside. HEX is a leveraged position on Pulse chain, but more downside. So, and then Pulse X is like what Pulse is to HEX, Pulse X is to Pulse, and even more so to HEX. So yeah, that's your charts right there. A little bit of a pullback, maybe retouch the trend line before we're headed higher. Okay. 383 billion Pulse X bought and burned. Looks like it hasn't really resumed yet. But as far as the numbers, HEX is down the most today. But it pumped the most. So that has to be kept in mind. And Pulse X down the least, surprisingly. So that's interesting. HEX daily stats. HEX daily stats. We continue to look at the current stakers on Ethereum. Lost another 6, but gained 15 current holders. 6-day losing streak of current stakers on Ethereum. But that's okay because we have pulsechain where we added 8 and we added 28 holders. And yeah, vast majority of the days we're adding stakers on pulsechain. So that's really, really good. And adding current holders pretty much every day as well. So very good. It's looking good for the adoption of pulsechain, and it's looking good for the HEX price, future HEX price. So yeah, that's it for your numbers. Bullish HEX. I hope you're not accumulating HEX on Ethereum. I have to stop doing that. I have to stop looking at the EHEX numbers. It's negativity. It's negativity. But yeah, that's really what's going on as far as the numbers. What are you guys saying in the chat? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's been a pretty sideways day. Not much really going on. So yeah, we don't have many tabs on Twitter to look at. No Richard Hart tweets, not much news. Things are just going as they go in a bear market. This is the bear market. This is when we learn to delay gratification, right? And that's what's really happening. But we're still going to look at some stuff. I think there's some positive news developments as far as the SEC case. And that's what we're covering today. So what's going on in the chat? Good morning to Hex Mom. Big shout out to our moms. They may already have lost their marbles. SEC is falling into Richard Hart's trap. Not the other way around. Checkmate. Yeah, we're going to look into that. 35 people watching. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Brazology says, feels like 2024 will be the year the American government will be forced to embrace crypto publicly. You might be right. It's definitely looking like that. Can't wait to win this. I've never had so many arguments in my life as of late. Don't argue. Don't argue. Stay positive. Stay positive, guys. So let's take a look at what's going on. Don't have many tabs today, but there was one Twitter thing. I was like, let me check the Truflation, because Truflation has been pretty ahead of the curve, like me, when it comes to inflation coming down. Like their numbers were lower than the U.S. government, and then the U.S. government tracked it pretty much. So if we look at Truflation, USA inflation year over year is at 2.71%. So that should be indicative of a positive CPI print on September 13th, I believe. So that's really good. And we'll see what happens. But I think there was a little bit of a pullback. We went back up 0.3% or 0.2%. And I think we're going to be headed for lower inflation. Equilibrium is happening. And I think really everything's falling into place very nicely as far as the crypto market in general, with inflation lowering and positive price action on the stock market. S&P 500 is nearing all-time highs. So that's really good. I think people are saying it's pricing in a lowering of rate hikes. I mean, that's really falling into place. And obviously the SEC news with Ripple and Grayscale. I think it was Ripple, Grayscale being able to overrule the SEC blockage for the Bitcoin ETF. That's very positive. So it's looking like we're gonna have the bull market on time. But we'll see. There's always surprises, right? There's always surprises. So let's take a look at what we have here. Yeah, right here. It's Axios. According to Axios News, SEC Chair Gary Gensler, court losses are piling up in crypto. Interesting. Gary Gensler, Securities and Exchange Commission, has really been face planting in the courts lately when it comes to crypto industry enforcement. Why it matters. The regulated community is liable to smell blood in the water. Companies settle when they believe they will lose in court or that the price of the fight will be too high. But every loss for the SEC makes it less likely the next company it goes after will settle. Catch up fast. SEC's most recent loss came on its reasoning to keep Grayscale's giant Bitcoin trust from converting to an exchange-traded fund. So that was the loss. The Federal Appeals Court of District of Columbia pointed out several inconsistencies between the commission's decision on exchange-traded funds tied to Bitcoin derivatives and Grayscale proposed products built on stablecoins. Okay, first ETF approved October 2021. They talk about the Ripple case and the pending appeal. A loss in that case would be a further blow. Quick take. It's not so much that either of these matters is settled. It's not so much that either of these matters is settled, but that each loss indicates weakness in the agency's overall analysis. SEC Chair Gensler has gone to considerable lengths to make his views seem like simple, common sense application of the law. When judges disagree, it bolsters the industry's argument that the law needs an update. Okay. Looking bad for the SEC. It says here the latest. The SEC already lost one bid in the Binance case. It sought a restraining order to freeze the firm's assets in the U.S. It got a compromise. Okay. So looking bad for the SEC. And yeah, the obvious take is that it's very bullish for this ecosystem with Richard Hart. What's interesting, though, is that as time unfolds, these cases are getting resolved and getting resolved positively. And obviously that sets precedent for HEX. And it shows weakness on the SEC's part. So that just gives leverage, there could be a better settlement or obviously a more likely victory in court, depending on which option they choose. So, yeah, people say Richard is trying to buy time. I don't know exactly whether or not that's true. Let's see if this case happens November 28th or it gets postponed, but it's really good. It's a great development. So that's really positive, and things look like they're falling into place in every way. So that's really it. And that just makes me more confident. So that's really good news. There's tremendous leverage from, Richard's, I guess, for Richard's case. There could be a very good deal or there could be a victory in court. I think that's really what it's looking like. But it's important, and I hope that all these things are resolved and stuff like that by November 28th, but it's looking like it will. So yeah, not much other news. The price is down, which is rough, but not much more to really talk about. I saw CoinDesk had an article calling hexagons like Richard Hart's victims, which was really a bad way of characterizing it. We're not victims. In that case, I guess everybody in crypto is victims because everybody's down pretty much. Unless you got in before the bull market, you're down. So, but it is what it is. And I see it as opportunity. So yeah, that's really it for the news. There's not much else to talk about. Made sure to come on today so you guys had something. What are you guys saying in the comment section? Valiant Loki says, how much will SEC pay Richard Hart to settle? Funny. Let's see. Hex Mom says my son got me into this. What's going on, Metasting? Metasting's a patron. Noah Rodriguez says, I don't want Hex to go to a penny yet. I need to get 7K more, or else I won't get my 100X. And Todd's a patron. Big shout out to Todd, our Furu fan. What's going on, Todd? Big shout out to Todd. But yeah, guys, not much really going on. Not much to talk about. So I guess we'll just call it for the stream. But obviously, the SEC not looking good is very positive for the upcoming court case or pre-trial on November 28th. So smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow, but I will be back Monday. So yeah, that's it for today's stream. Yeah, I will be back Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Have a great rest of your day.